Hey, this is Swoopy, back with Whimsicality, fluffy fun on a stick for Wednesday, June 23rd, 2005. When I was little, and maybe not being the beacon of sweetness and light that I am now, my grandmother would give me that look. I didn't think it through that expressing myself creatively in permanent marker on the wallpaper might not be a very good idea. It isn't as if I didn't have a Light-Brite or Play-Doh. Those little colored plastic pegs were always hiding in the green shag carpet, waiting for someone in bare feet to step on them. And though surprisingly salty, Play-Doh isn't meant to be fed to the dog. Sweetness and light. Honest. Yeah, I got the evil eye from my grandmother on nearly a daily basis. This is back before every child was on Ritalin, because otherwise I would have grown up a very different child with this thing called an attention span, and before the days of the timeout. Most of us know it. When we were little, we feared it. Now as adults, we've mastered it. The evil eye. We use it on our coworkers from the other side of the cubicle wall, on our significant others when our back is turned, or sometimes, or not, on our pets, even though they just give it back to us. Imagine now if the mystical power of the evil eye, or a look that could wither or kill, were real. Would you use it so easily then? You gave me a parking ticket? I don't think so. What do you mean you're out of Frappuccino mix? In regions where light-colored eyes are uncommon, people with blue eyes are often thought to possess the talent to curse others with their gaze, even unintentionally. If you're in the thrall of the green-eyed monster, you're jealous of something or someone, maybe someone with blue eyes. We all know what they say about people with brown eyes. My sister's eyes are brown, and so I can tell you that that particular saying has merit. Called the ayin hara in Hebrew, the evil eye is significant in Jewish folklore. Praising a child too much, touching a baby, or bringing an expectant mother baby gifts before the child is born are all ways to invite the evil eye. In fact, the admonishment that it isn't polite to stare is thought to have stemmed from the fear of the eye. In modern Turkey, new babies are kept covered in blankets for fear that their defenseless beauty will inspire a jealous glance. In many Middle Eastern countries, the Hamsa, Hamesh, or Hand of Fatima is a common symbol of protection. In some instances, it is contained within a Star of David. The word Hamsa comes from the root word for the number 5 in Hebrew. The number 5, which we'll talk about in our next Whimsicality, is considered to have special magical power to bring good luck. In the eye of the hand symbol, the number 5 is represented by the 5 fingers of an open palm. Sort of an ancient talk to the hand thing going on there. In my reading, I found it referenced to a stop sign to the devil. Hamsa is the most popular cameo for good luck and well-being in the Middle East. This eye and hand motif is so common, actually, that I have one in my jewelry box. I didn't even know what it was, just that I liked it. I got it more from the hand than the eye. If you go to a bead store in any town, USA, you'll most likely find one next to the Stars of David, crosses, ankhs, and such. In Celtic mythology, there's the legend of Balor of the Evil Eye. Balor was one of the Dadanans, mysterious godlike people in ancient Irish lore, and he had one eye in the middle of his forehead. Balor kept his eye covered because it had the power to turn whatever it saw into stone. This came in handy during battle. Purportedly, Balor's sweeping gaze would decimate entire armies. In Greek mythology, there are several eyes to be concerned with. One of the best known, again, had one eye in the middle of his forehead, the Cyclops, Polyphemus. He was actually pretty harmless. His eye didn't do anything, and in fact, he was blinded by Odysseus. In the world of comics, the Cyclops namesakes did in fact have superpowers, but mostly those were used for good and not evil. The Egyptian symbol, the Eye of Horus, is a symbol of protection and power. Originally named the Eye of Ra. Ra is the sun god of ancient Egypt, later combined with the Theban god Amun to become Amun-Ra, which the Greeks and Romans identified as Zeus or Jupiter in their pantheon. Eventually, you know how fickle people are, Ra fell out of fashion and it was all about Horus, thus the name change. One of the eyes of Horus was the sun and the other was the moon. The sun eye was regarded as the most powerful and became a symbol of royalty as well. Tutankhamun bore the eye of Horus under the 12th layer of bandages of his mummified self. The Freemasons adopted the symbol and named it the Eye of Providence. It is the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States, found most commonly on the back of the $1 bill. The eye is positioned above an unfinished pyramid with 13 steps, representing the original 13 states and the future growth of the country. The Latin above the pyramid means God has favored our undertaking. The Latin below the pyramid means a new order has begun. At the base of the pyramid is the Roman numeral for 1776. The combined implication is that the eye, or God, favors the prosperity of the United States. No, it isn't an evil eye, but it is an eye of power, and it's on our money. Now that I think about it, big eyes are everywhere. Sauron in Lord of the Rings saw all through his giant eye. CBS has one, the Alan Parsons Project. To control something or someone with merely our gaze would seem to be an ultimate power. But, like Baelor, unless you could control it, you would lose the benefit of your sight for everyday things. Would you even be able to look at yourself in a mirror? I suppose lack of vanity would be a trade-off. Whether we think about it or not, our gaze does possess a certain intangible power. Smiling eyes can reach out all the way across the room to someone, and a look of fear or sadness is almost impossible to betray. When you want to know how someone really feels about something, ask them to look you in the eye. Can they? If not, chances are they're hiding something. Often the eyes of a person will tell you what words cannot. The practice of meeting someone's gaze and looking them in the eye when speaking, even in casual conversation, is a mark of confidence, one that I wish I possessed. Although I can furrow my brow and produce the most withering, disapproving looks at a moment's notice, not to mention the all-important eye roll of disbelief, I'll admit, rapt attention I seem to have a problem with, but stalwart stare-downs are my cup of tea. I must have gotten that from Grandma.
Join our discussion forums at www.skepticality.com. Leave feedback by email at feedback@skepticality.com or by phone at area code 206-888-HOAX. That's 206-888-4629. This has been Skepticality. Thanks for listening.